Good evening and welcome to the news on Metro TV. Coming up next, the headlines. And tonight, hundreds of Tamale residents protest against spiraling inflation and high cost of living in the country with a call on government to take concrete steps to address the challenges. Also, residents of Nkranza request for police protection after officers withdraw their services following violent clashes between the youth and the police over the death of a suspected armed robber. Elsewhere, NASA calls off second attempt to launch Artemis moon rocket after a fault was found in the rocket's hardware. And beginning our bulletin tonight, residents of Tamale, the northern regional capital, on Saturday hit the streets to express their displeasure over the current economic hardships in the country. Now, the following report filed by our correspondent Alhassan Dibaba.
Residents of Tamale marched through the principal streets of the city to express their anger over the deteriorating economic situation in the country. The demonstrators, cladded in red, called on government to reduce the ever-increasing fuel prices, cement prices, water and electricity tariffs, among others. Addressing the media at the Tamale Ghibli Park, the organizer of the walk, Professor Jasper Abembia, a lecturer at the University of Development Studies, called on the president to work harder to improve the current economic conditions.
The arrogance of power that we are hearing from this government or this president. Recently, he was here when people are clashing with them because of the economic hardship. What was he here to tell us? That we are lucky to have him as the president. So anybody who thinks like this, who thinks that the citizens are lucky to have him as the president, rather than tell me that he is lucky for the citizens to give him the privilege to govern, then we have a dictator on our hands. We have a dictator on our hands. And it is important that we point this out. I urge all my colleagues at the university to speak out.
He called on other well-meaning Ghanaians to voice out against the prevailing condition.
Everybody who used to criticize John Mahama for all the things that he said about him, they should come out and start talking, because we are seeing that this country is heading towards collapse. All those people who have decided to speak because somebody else is entitled to govern, and for that matter, you can govern anyhow, and even claim to say we are happy or we are lucky to have him. That is not the case. Please, speak out, speak out, speak out.
People from all walks of life took part in the demonstration. Speaking on behalf of beneficiaries of the National Builders Corps, Yakubu Isahaku said the current government has deceived them by promising permanent jobs.
I want to say on behalf of all the co-presidents to apologize to the session to Ramon Malonga. And Ghanaians have now for deceiving them. And it was the faith of Nana Abdullah Akufo-Addo and the session to Ramon who made it possible about Ramon Malonga and convinced us to hear from them. But now they are pointless in their movement and refuse to pay us. What were they deceiving them before?
Right, we have been joined via phone by Professor Jasper Abembia Ayela Zuno, who is an associate professor of political science and vice dean of the Faculty of Communications at the University of Development Studies. He led the protests earlier today. Prof, good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Good evening, and good evening to your team and all those who are watching Metro TV. I greet them from Tamale.
Right, so why did you close your books today to rather hit the streets to protest?
I mean, speaking truth to power is part of the job of every intellectual. We are not just supposed to be concerned about teaching and research. Throughout the world, academics are supposed to be the ones who are to speak truth to power because they have academic freedom. And I decided to use that freedom, that academics are supposed to enjoy to speak truth to power. And it's not just me. This I'm taking, a clue from other academics like Dubois, Professor Dubois, and then Pafansan, who even when things it was under the dictatorship of J.J. Rawlings, they spoke out because it gets to a point. Some people must speak out, and in our present system, looks like people have all, you know, decided to go into hiding or have decided to just keep quiet because they are afraid or scared of what will happen when they speak out. But I'm just seeing as a political scientist that this country, this our democracy, is on the reverse. And I decided that we have to speak out, and not just me speaking out, ordinary people have to speak out, voicing their grievances on the misgovernance and mismanagement of the economy that have inflicted them with really, really crushing hardships. So that's why we decided to, mobilize them to speak to the president because we think that the president might not be,
All right.
he's sleeping, he may be sleeping. He's not, listening to the people.
Yeah, so Prof, how would you rate the turnout? Were you satisfied, and have you received any feedback from government?
Nah, we haven't received any feedback from government, and we really do not think that receiving a feedback is important. The important thing is that you see that this demonstration was different because we allowed ordinary people to voice out their grievances and to speak through the media to the president. You see that the addresses didn't start with the usual elites like me addressing the demonstrator. It started with ordinary people, welders, yellow operators, hairdressers, market women, started to address the demonstrators. So we are not concerned about the turnout. The turnout was massive. I mean, if you watch the video clips, you see that the turnout was massive. And even those who did not turn out to march, throughout the demonstration, people came out and they were standing by their business, their stores, by their houses and
Right.
cheering us up.
Okay, so Prof, what next? After the demonstration, are you expecting government response?
Demonstrations are legitimate mode of holding leaders accountable. And in fact, perhaps the most effective way of holding leaders accountable. You just witnessed the Sri Lankan president take off, had to resign because of demonstration. In South Africa, demonstrations have led to the change, leaders resigning because the people are telling them that they are not performing. We are not asking for a change of government. We are not calling for the president to resign, but we just are telling him that it's really hard for people. I mean, it's not me who's saying it. The people spoke. So, I mean, what next? We have to keep the pressure on. We have to keep demonstrating. So we are going to keep demonstrating. We'll go to Bolga and we'll go to Upper West region. That's what we are going to be doing. Our movement is called the Coalition of Progressive Forces in Northern Ghana. We are going to keep mobilizing demonstrations until the government wakes up from its slumber.
All right. We are grateful for your time. That's Professor Jasper Abembia Yelazono, who is an associate professor of political science and vice dean of the Faculty of Communication at the University for Development Studies. You're watching news on Metro TV, and let's do some other stories now. There is a heightened fear and insecurity in Nkuranza following the withdrawal of the police from the community. Their absence, according to the residents, has paved the way for criminal activities to thrive, and there is more in the following report.
Here in the Nkuranza municipality, the residents lack police protection. Police officers were withdrawn from the area after the youth vandalized the police station over the death of one Albert Donko, who was shot during a police operation in the area. Since the bloody demonstration, policemen assigned to the area have been withdrawn, a concern the chiefs presented to President Akufo-Addo when they met him this week.
The absence of police services in the municipality have led to the increase in criminal activities and have also disrupted economic activities. Public servants and the general public live in a state of fear. We therefore appeal to you to call the police administration to restore police services in the Nkuranza municipality.
A journey to Nkuranza revealed that there is police presence in some parts of the area, but the operations are limited. Police officers are seen at some checkpoints and the municipal police headquarters, but they do not attend to calls by residents. The people of the area say they usually have to travel to Techiman when they need to report cases.
And report to or the case be out. A Joko Bushia and I'll teach mine. The Ama, the problem about Chroma says, I said, will be sissy, and now shall be washing. Obi, you never be at the effort. The police for New Franza, the young class are mine. The threat, and none of my buying and impending for. So, Momoa, not police for number. Now, remember work.
Of late, we've been hearing that. Some armed men have been attacking innocent farmers who do their normal duties. And unfortunately, some people have even been murdered and evidence of the issue. All because there is insecurity in Nkuranza.
Member of Parliament for the area, Emmanuel Kojo Ejekum, said his outfit is collaborating with the traditional authorities to set up community watchdog teams to provide protection to residents.
The traditional authorities should collaborate with us, with the MP, myself, and then we train young people. We have young people who are strong and they can protect the community. We just have to give them the necessary training. Once we give them the necessary training, they'll be able to protect us. We'll give them pickups, 2 pickups or 3, to roam around in the evening to protect the people in town, to make sure at least our people are safe and everything.
He bemoaned the rate at which armed men terrorize innocent farmers in the area lately due to the absence of police protection. Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo has assured the chiefs that full police operations will resume in the area, but was quick to caution them to call the youth to order.
There are some 80 to 100 police personnel from the headquarters in Accra and from Kumasi and other adjoining communities undertaking other police duties in Nkuranza. But I think that what we want is to, as soon as possible, have the police resume normal operations in Nkuranza. And I'm going to make sure that as soon as possible, the IGP is in a position to do that.
And also in the news tonight, residents of Achim Abuabo in the Birim Central Municipality of the Eastern Region are angry about the poor nature of their roads. The deplorable roads are impacting negatively on economic activities in the area. They have therefore threatened to demonstrate if the authorities do not address their concerns as soon as possible.
Residents say the community lags behind the developmental ladder, a situation that is severely affecting them economically. The poor nature of the road is also affecting their health as they have to inhale the dust daily.
kwan de da hwa che e ya Babutan rules ye ne aban di hu koma membra ye beto abayi no mde aso bebo fom so mba be ye kwan de amaye fisi ye to aban wiye no ye hu mpiu bisine ti ade se de kese pa ne de to aban anim se ye srom omomna no me kwan ma ne mu ma che ye suwa fro ma che ye srom pa
ye hu ni pa ko a se bi otu ni hu si wo se obeye kwan no me dinachi ana se bibisa ya bo ana se bibisa nti kwan de ha yen kwan de ha pa nti aban no onhwe no mebo ya bo abo otwam ha no akoda otwam ha no akoda no akonkura eto aso nti abo mebo yen.
The newly installed chief of the area expressed concerns about some challenges confronting the community and called on authorities to come to their aid.
Ekroma ya kwan e wo kroma no aban de ne sabe kan so be ye kru na maye obeye okwan ni amaye wo hwe mantem ha ya ka ba bia kota aboabo a wo firi wa na wadu odan abonten so ye kru no wondo mo sabe kan ase kru no atutu amna e wo kru mo ha bebre gates ya ye kra wa mu antuma ya amaye amekru asensen wiem ti esra ban.
He, however, called for peace and unity among the people to foster development.
And the Western Regional Police Command has dismissed claims that 2 excavators were handed over to the police by the District Chief Executive of Elembele, Kwisibonzo, or any other person from the Assembly. This followed reports by the DCE for the area, Kwisibonzo, that the 2 excavators, which were in the custody of the police, had gone missing.
Illegal mining activities in the Western region are alarming. Despite efforts by authorities to tackle the problem, it continues unabated. While taking steps to clamp down on the menace in his jurisdiction, DCE for Elembele alleged that some evacuators handed over to the police have gone missing.
Then on Wednesday in the morning, we reported to the police that 2 excavators had been arrested here. And we needed men to guard it so that the owners would not come for it. The police insisted they didn't have enough men. Upon some agreement, they released 2 policemen. So they gave 2 men to guard the 2 excavators so that nobody could take it away. Then I'm told by evening 6 p.m. the policemen left the excavators there. So by the time we got there in the morning, the 2 excavators were nowhere to be found.
According to the chairman of the Elembele District Security Council, the fight against illegal mining must be tackled holistically.
Obviously, we needed to protect, to give security. We need security. That's why we even went to the police in the first place. Because by experience, anytime you arrest galamsees and you seize their machines, their first priority is to get their machines out of the way. But that's their investment. And this one, we're talking about brand new machines, brand new, where some call it tear rubber. So we realized that it was a very valuable exhibit that we needed to hold so that we could apprehend the owners. Once you hold the machine, the owners of the machine will show up.
Meanwhile, the police has rejected claims that it took custody of some missing excavators in the Elembele district. In a statement, it said the DCA, his personal assistant, and 1 other are being investigated in a connection with the alleged missing excavators.
Let's move to the Central Region now. And the President Akufo-Addo has commissioned 2 factories operating under the government's One District, One Factory initiative in the Central Region. He first visited the APPED cylinder factory, which is currently employing some 250 people and is expected to employ some 500 at full capacity. Meanwhile, the President has been touring the Commander Sugar Factory as part of his 2-day tour of the Central Region. And as assured, the company will begin commercial production of sugar this year. Let's listen to what the President has been saying.
The commander had a semi by Juma Casewa. The chassis a check, so it mean baby. And the bar had me catch us a member head you. Now, sugar factory at Damokoma Sopa near Vienna, Juma. A car crabby. Wawaka said, great works are going there. To me, bada me the many barbershop. Now, commissioning no beba and check. And no, 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 shed up. Yeah, big, a dry barber of the commission. Me, that's this one who said, nipa mi de na hyɛ asɔn bɛhwɛ saa de adwuma yi so kyerɛmate nso ɛbɔ ne ho mmɔden ɔne na wɔn yɛ adwuma ma no no abɔ mmɔden paa akakraa bi na commander sugar factory na aka ho asɛm a ebinom ntumi anyɛ ne yie a maba a meyɛ ne yie sɛ ɛno nso so na ayɛ yie nti mebaeɛ a mebaa ne nsrɛm na maba bɛtie nsɛm so ɔda mo koma so mmɔbobɔ bi so na ɛkwan biara so no ɛnkyɛ mesrɛ nyankopɔn sɛ afei a yɛrekɛn mu no mɛbɛ commenda bio.
Well, great news for the people of Central Region. Let's remain there a little bit because the former Director General of the State Interest and Governance Authority, Stephen Asamoah-Boateng, said government remains committed to reviving the company.
It was a dead place. And coming back here today, of course, I have been checking for because I live around the corner in Cromarty. And the transformation, you see the machine, these are brand new machines. So these are not the old ones we are continuing. I think the impression is that we are continuing from where it used to be. These are completely brand new machines, and you can see activity. The sugarcane is there, which are planted here in the Commander area. And so I'm happy. I'm very happy that the MPP government led by Nana Addo promised to deliver and he's done it. And that, you see, gradually we are doing the job. And except that maybe we're not saying it all, people are basically thinking of survival now, so the job is not important to them. But we have to tackle both and tell the story too. And this is a good story. Once the community and the main farm produce is coming in, and the community are doing their hard growers, the issue work. And we'll keep an eye on it because it's important to Central Region. I hear it's about 95%, so about 5% left, and we are done. And then they will start production. Then we'll come and commission it.
Remember, the news is also live on channel 277 on DSTV. We will return shortly. Welcome back to the news live on Metro TV. And the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, has warned school heads and other stakeholders against a report of syndicate cheating, among other malpractices, in the ongoing 2022 WASI.
WAEC, in a statement, said it will not hesitate to derecognize schools caught in such malpractices. According to the Examination Council, intelligence has been received that some school authorities are collecting money from candidates and overseeing syndicate cheating in their schools. The council says it has the mandate to derecognize these schools caught engaging in malpractices. Candidates identified as having colluded would have their results cancelled. The statement further indicated that the council is working with the National Intelligence Bureau and other security agencies to check infringement of rules and regulations governing the ongoing examination. Some hotspots have also been identified and monitoring of these centers have been intensified.
Right, and joining me via Zoom is a fellow with the African Education Watch, Divine Akpe. And before we begin, Divine, the issues raised by WAEC this week means that it's actually touched on what the president has been saying. He's been commenting on the free senior high school program, saying a national dialogue would be apt. What do you make of his pronouncements?
These
Hello, Divine, can you hear me?
We have indicated that, yes. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you also hear me?
Yes, please, go on.
All right, thank you. So we have indicated that we welcome the president to the table for us to have the broader discussion on the free SHS. We have been making the point for a very long time that there's a need for us to look at the free SHS program, more especially the financing model, because we believe it is putting so much pressure on government budgetary allocation to the education sector. We look at it, you'd have realized that over the period that the program is being implemented, budgetary allocation has shifted by 10% in 2016 to 2022, by 10% from basic level to increase the budgetary allocation to SHS level by 10%. So as we see government trying as much as possible to finance the free SHS program, what is happening is that government is denying adequate financing to basic education in order to keep the program running. And it tells you that the program by its nature is not financially sustainable, and therefore it has to be relooked at. So that call has always been made. And once the realization is getting to the president, we are so much happy that the president is getting to the table, and whereby a look can be taken at the program for us to see how best it can be streamlined for its effectiveness.
Right. So, which aspects of the program do you think should be reviewed and quickly?
We believe the feeding component of the program should be looked at. If you look at the budgetary allocation to the free senior high school program, 70% of the money allocated to it goes into feeding. So annually, we spend like on average 1.4 billion on feeding, just feeding alone. So if you spend 70% of your SHS budgetary allocation to feeding, and then left with 30% for goods and services, and or maybe something also for capital expenditure, then it tells you that that is not anything that is sustainable. So if we could look at it, especially the feeding component of the program, and look at whether parents can come on board to also be part of it, and we believe that will make the program more sustainable and also help government to channel money to other subsectors of the education area. It's not only the free senior high school that is a subsector in the education sector. We have basic education, we have complementary basic education. All of them are over there. So if you look at it, it tells you that government will have to look at the program to be able to shift money from it a bit so that it can address some of the challenges in the basic education particularly. Ghana is not the only one implementing free senior high school or free education at the secondary school level. We have about 5 other countries that are equally implementing it. South Africa is there, Uganda is there. And if you look at their financing model, they are not spending as much as we are spending, but they are keeping the program running. I believe we can learn from best practice from them and see what they are doing best, and that they are achieving much more with relatively little financing, yet they are getting more from it. What are they doing? We could learn from these 5 other countries to be able to keep ours also going.
Right. Let's turn to WAEC now. I mean, they've issued a statement, and we all know that this is not the first time we are hearing about exam malpractices, even though it appears WAEC is being proactive this time. But beyond this, what practicable approach do you think can be taken to deal with this problem?
Yeah, we first of all want to comment.
Hello, Divine, are you there? We've lost Divine, and I'm sure we will do some more about this issue if we're able to. Divine, are you back?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. So I was asking, or I asked you about what practicable approach can be taken now to deal with these exam malpractices.
All right. Okay. So I was saying that we need to commend YF for the proactive steps they are taking by issuing those statements. We are working in collaboration with them. So we are not surprised that they came out with that statement. So we have set up a desk at Do Watch to hear some of the complaints, and all the names. Equally, GS has also issued similar notice. Some of these issues are also coming from us to these 2 agencies, and we are happy they are also acting to send notice into the system. This is okay, and I'm sure that once this has come out and then some people are caught, the law should be able to deal with them. We should, by this time, be going for the strictest of measures to deal with this. So once the caution has been issued out, the next one that anybody that will be caught on the part of teachers, if GES has a regulation that could even cause a dismissal for a teacher who would have engaged in examination malpractice. And then for schools, student papers could be cancelled, or the center could be not be recognized as examination center anymore. So I believe if we, apart from this notice that they have issued, should any school be caught, we should by this time be cracking the whip so hard so that it serves as a deterrent to other schools or teachers that may be equally trying to engage in similar acts.
Right. Divine Akwe is a fellow with the African Education Watch. For some more news on Metro TV tonight, the Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Mutala Mohammed, says the NDC has been vindicated following the President's comments on a possible review of the free senior high school policy. According to him, the free senior high school policy of the government was recklessly implemented as a result of President Akufo-Addo's ego. He spoke in an earlier interview on Inside Pages.
Why President Mahama felt that let's provide them with free textbooks and exercise books. Let's provide them with free uniforms. Let's provide them with free sandals. There are students who are not able to go to school because they don't have uniforms. Their uniforms are torn. There are students who are not able to go to school because they don't have shoes to wear to school. Identify those who can, or make it open. If you know you can afford, there are patriotic citizens who will be willing to pay. Now, why would I pay several thousands of Ghana cedis for my war's education at the basic level? Then I go to secondary school, the state says, don't pay. Then I don't pay. Food is not available. I can buy food for my kids. They're in the same rooms with other kids whose parents cannot buy food for them. They're in the same dormitory. Why wouldn't you have reported cases of students stealing? So I'm saying that these were the issues the NDC and many other people in this country raised. They say that those who can pay, let them pay. Look, there can be a means by which you can assess to know those who can pay and those who cannot pay.
Yes.
When our kids were going to secondary school, there were forms we filled.
Yes.
Now you can indicate if you are willing to pay, pay. There are some who genuinely say they'll pay.
Right.
It was not only the Minister for Finance, a former Minister for Defense, Honorable Adukufo, himself raised issues about the free SHS. Now, if you attack the NDC and attack President Mahama for raising issues that were justified by all standards, why didn't you attack the Minister for Finance when he said that he doesn't think that it is feasible? Needed to see there are some students who may not have the means. And if they do not have the means and they also want to attain secondary education, what do? Government needed to do it progressively. And that was the agenda and the objective of the NDC.
Meanwhile, Deputy Communications Director of the New Patriotic Party, Kamaldeen Abdullahi, speaking on the same program, said although the implementation of the policy has been met with some challenges, there is no doubt that the free senior high school has helped a lot of Ghanaians.
September 2017, before even September 2017, when the budget of 2017 was read, some 211 million Ghana cedis was set aside for free education,
right,
or for secondary education, because of the belief of the President of the Republic of Ghana,
right,
in the free SHS policy.
Okay.
That actually represented 27.3% of our budgetary allocation. I mean, annual budget, should I say, expenditure,
right,
as it were.
Okay.
And it tells you how significant it is and how important and imperative it was to the President and, of course, the Ghanaians to implement same.
Okay.
Now, the question is, having had this implemented, some few years down the line, what has been the benefits?
Disaster.
Okay? Of course, I would want to agree that indeed, in the course of the implementation, there could be some hiccups. Okay? That is where this broader conversation matter would have to come in.
Right, we will turn in a moment with the business news. Stay with us. Right, in our business news tonight, some oil marketing companies, OMCs, have started increasing prices of petroleum products at the pumps. This took effect from September 2. They attribute the surge to the sharp depreciation of the cedi in the last 2 weeks.
Market leaders Gold and Total Energies are selling a liter of petrol at 11 cedis 55 pesos and diesel at 14 cedis 50 pesos respectively. The increase is far higher than what had been projected based on numbers from the Association of Oil Marketing Companies released earlier this week. The increase in the prices of petroleum products by Gold and Total Energies indicates that petrol has gone up by about 3% per litre, whilst diesel has shot up by 7%. more OMCs are expected to follow suit in the coming days by adjusting their prices upwards. The increase in the prices of petroleum products is largely due to the sharp depreciation of the cedi to the dollar in the last 2 weeks. The Institute of Energy Securities put the depreciation of the cedi at over 10% during the last 2 weeks. During the period, the international benchmark saw a 1.68% price reduction over the previous pricing window's average price to a current average price of $96.72 per barrel from $98.38 per barrel in the previous pricing window. It further pointed out that whereas the prices of petrol has fallen by 5.87% and that of liquefied petroleum gas by 3.28% on the world market, the Institute of Energy Securities projects that the price of these products will rise at the pumps. During the last pricing window ending August 31, 2022, prices of fuel rose marginally.
And in other news, tonight the President, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has approved the inclusion of nuclear technology into the country's power generation mix. So the move, according to him, is in consonance with the global commitment to the sustainable availability of peaceful exploitation of nuclear energy to benefit all citizens. So joining us via Zoom to discuss this energy issue is an energy expert, Dr. Suleimana Yusuf. Doctor, good to have you online. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you, my brother, and good evening to your charity viewers in Ghana and across the globe. Thank you for having me.
Right, we are grateful you've joined us. So tell us more about this nuclear technology. What is it all about?
Yeah, so nuclear technology has been with us or within the global energy mix for quite a longer period of time, or for quite a longer period of time. You know, however, if you look at in history, because of the meltdowns or the potential fallouts that actually happen with respect to nuclear energy generation, you know, a lot of pundits or a lot of potential producers have shied away from from embarking on nuclear energy. However, with the advancement of technology, I think nuclear energy is becoming a bit more competitive. So to the extent that, I mean, most countries are now trying to embrace nuclear power, within their generation mix. I think that is laudable. And then Ghana per se, I think nuclear energy, the fact that we are considering adding it to our energy generation mix, I consider laudable, because at the moment, I believe that, I mean, for us to industrialize, we need to make sure that we achieve what they call energy security. And energy security will have three main, trajectories. Before energy is secured to a nation or to a particular continent, the energy has to be affordable, the energy has to be dependable, and the energy has to be readily available. You know, to the extent that these three things are not met at this moment in time, where the per kilowatt hour the end user pays is still not very much competitive. So if you add a nuclear energy to the mix, I believe it will bring a lot of competition into the mix, and there's a potential that it could drop. I mean, it could drop the energy. I mean, the per kilowatt hour the end user pays at the pump. It's not a guarantee, but having a multiplicity of energy sources within the generation mix, increases your flexibility and the chances that you may have competitive power supply to the end user.
So, Doctor, what does this mean for Ghana, our country? I mean, in the context of either West Africa or the entire African continent?
Yeah, so it's a great thing. And I think if Ghana can champion that successfully, a lot more other African countries might follow suit or might be able to champion that. And it is interesting to note that, I mean, nuclear energy has unique advantages. It is about the quietest, the smoothest, and leaves zero carbon footprint. And if you look at the world, where the world is gravitating towards, where we do have something called green energy, where we want to minimize our carbon footprint. And I think nuclear can just deliver that. Apart from the fact that if we are able to, to be able to put in contingency measures, to demonstrate that we can contain any potential meltdown. Say we have contingencies and then the containment measures that are put in place. And I think with advancement in technology, like I said, these things can be catered for. So yes, it is an important thing, and it's commendable that we champion that. Except that we just have to make sure that this fallout that have happened in history, we should work closely with International Atomic Energy Agency to move us, to graduate us through the rank. And my understanding is that the first phase has already been moved, where our infrastructure have been certified to be in robust shape to be able to, champion this particular energy generation base. So yes, in the continent of Africa, I think it is a unique thing. And for the fact that, like I mentioned, the world is gravitating towards the world of green energy, and I think nuclear energy can just deliver that. And if I may add one final thing, nuclear energy has one unique advantage that a lot may not see. If you look at the conventional renewable energy, nuclear energy beats the conventional renewable energy on two main areas. Number one, the seasonality of renewable energy, and then the fact that renewable energy, the fact that renewable energy may not be able to guarantee energy security at this moment in time. In terms of the areas that I talked about, I think it's nuclear energy should be able to deliver that, especially the fact that renewable energy sometimes is seasonal, especially if the wind is not blowing, if the sun is not shining, you might not be able to champion renewable energy. However, nuclear energy, number one, apart from its high initial capital input, when it becomes operational, what we call the OPEX is highly competitive. The OPEX is very minimal. The operational expenditure in running nuclear energy, especially when it comes on stream, is very minimal. So that almost, we can say, to counterbalance the initial capex or initial capital outlay that is required to put nuclear energy into place. So yes, I think it's a good thing. We should be able to pursue that, and I think other African countries can follow suit if we are able to succeed in championing that.
All right, Doc, so before you go, there's a rise in the cost of energy all over the world, from fuel to gas. And so is there any relativity to nuclear energy, and how prepared are we to benefit from this current situation?
Yeah, so I think in this situation, you painted the preamble very right. Energy at this moment is very expensive. And if there is any particular a single driver that is pushing inflationary pressures, to heights that we haven't seen before in recent times, it is the cost of energy. And so if you can have a way of bringing down the cost of energy by diversifying your generation mix, I think it is the way to go. And if you look at Europe, I think we can take a very an interesting cue from Europe. Europe had abandoned a lot of their nuclear reactors, in time past. And they have championed what you call, energy transition, to the extent that they said, okay, they are not going to, depend on nuclear energy at a point in time. And the fallout of Russian crisis, came to put something very clear to the global energy community, that energy security will always take precedence to clean energy, or let's say, what we call energy that is, green, what we normally call green energy. So yes, energy security is key. And so to the extent that Europe at this moment is now coming back to champion nuclear energy, so it is just telling us that, African continent need to take cue that anything can happen within the global energy space.
Okay.
And so once you are not diversified to that extent, you might not be competitive. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Suleiman. I'm sure we will get back to this energy discussion sometime on Metro TV News. We're taking a short break now. There's so much happening in the world of sports. When we return, we'll bring you the details. Checking out the latest sports news now. The FIFA World Cup has landed in Ghana as part of the initiative by Coca-Cola to create a global buzz for countries participating in the Qatar 2022 World Cup. The trophy was met on arrival at the Kotoka International Airport by the Minister for Youth and Sports, Mustafa Yusuf, and the GFA President, Kurt Okreku. Ghana is the first African country to receive the trophy before the tour moves on to the 4 other participating countries of the African continent. Here's a report by Nanaya Opoku.
And has been unveiled to Ghanaians. And so for the next 2 days in Ghana, the trophy will be touring. Now the World Cup trophy tour by Coca-Cola invites football fans to view the most iconic symbol in football and experience the real magic of the world's largest and most anticipated sporting events. Here at the press conference, the Ghana Football Association president made mention of how Ghana, or the Black Stars, are poised for action in Qatar 2022.
We are very much determined to rewrite history. And everybody who will be in that contingent to the Mondial in November will be ready when the alarm bells ring. We are Ghana, and we will show to the world that we are Ghana.
Also, the Minister for Youth and Sports, Honorable Mustafa Yusuf, stated that the government will support the Black Stars.
Ghana is happy to open the gates for the rest of the African continent. And as a football powerhouse of Africa, Ghana is hopeful and believing that inshallah, come November, December, we'll be bringing the trophy back here. And we are very hopeful, and we have a plan. The key stakeholders of the sports industry, we've put our plans together, and we have the belief that inshallah, in December, the stars will shine in Qatar.
1998 World Cup winner David Trezeguet also stated that he's happy to be here in Ghana and looking forward to a fruitful 2-day tour.
And another exciting football news, the Black Galaxies of Ghana have qualified for the 2023 CHAN Championship to be hosted by Algeria after beating their Nigerian counterparts 5-4 on penalties in Abuja following a 2-2 drawn game in Ghana. Well, Nigeria also beat Ghana 2-0, so it became 2-2. Now they have to play some penalty. And Ghana won, so congratulations to the Black Galaxies. All right, so as they say, Fetu Afashe Watu and Biom, so the Gwa Fetu Afashe is back after a 2-year absence due to COVID-19. And residents in the central region have been in a jubilant mood all week as they celebrate the festival. My colleague Desmond Okriku Danso is in Cape Coast and joins us on Zoom to tell us more. Hi, Desmond. Hello, Desmond.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me now?
Right, I can hear you. So give us the mood in Cape Coast. What is going on? Fetu Afashe.
Yeah, so it's been a very great week here in Cape Coast. And I had to even come inside because there's so much noise out there. A lot of people enjoying themselves after the absence of the festival for 2 years. And so they are not joking with this one at all. Right from when the celebration began, and today was the Deba part where the president came in. But yesterday was the Orange Friday Jam, and a lot of people came out in their numbers, from the elderly to the young folks here in Cape Coast, even outside Cape Coast, those from Accra, those from Kumasi, Takoradi, who are all in Cape Coast to be part of this festival, which is one of the big festivals in the country. And on Friday, it's the Orange Friday Jam. And so a lot of people, right from the afternoon to the evening, it was a lot of, and nobody slept in Cape Coast, I could say that. And so that was what happened. And then at the end, they had done the regatta. That was a boat riding contest at the Jubilee Park area. And today was the debate, as I mentioned. And lots of people are having fun outside. There's so much noise, and everybody is just jubilant with that. I have to call maybe, just some measure a little bit so they can come out and celebrate this year's festival.
Right. Desmond Okriku Danso painting the picture right in Cape Coast on Fetu Afashe. We have some international news coming up next. At international news tonight, the U.S. Space Agency has had to postpone the launch of its new Artemis 1 moon rocket for the second time in a week. Controllers were unable to stop a hydrogen leak on the vehicle almost from the start of Saturday's countdown procedure. NASA now has another opportunity to launch the rocket on Monday or Tuesday. That's it for this edition of Metro TV News. I thank you for joining us tonight. Do stay with us. There's more news on this network. I'm Mr. Moni. Have a good night.